Welcome to the Maverick Paradox Podcast, where we explore what it is to be a maverick and discover effective modes of leadership. I am Judith, and my mission is to propel the maverick mindset into a world where character and integrity will ultimately have a higher premium than personality and bureaucracy. So thank you for joining me on this journey. If you would like to continue with me, then please subscribe to my podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, or one of the other popular podcast platforms. Today we will depart from our usual conversation with format to talk about the Millennial Question. This is part 1, answering whether millennials are the new Mavericks. I hope you enjoy. Are millennials the new Mavericks? I remember being interviewed a few times in the early noughties about Generation Y. I stated then that Generation Y was starting to behave like Mavericks without the influence to demand what Mavericks have. So if we jump forward a decade, and Generation Y has become known as Millennials, with the realisation that there are really two types of Millennials: early Millennials, which we used to call Generation Y, and late Millennials. There are some overlap in their behaviour, but the two groups differ greatly in expectations and behaviours. Millennials are now an immense influential group. They are soon to be the largest generational group in the workplace. They can no longer be ignored. So, are millennials the new Mavericks? There will be individuals within this generational group who are Mavericks, of course. However, the vast majority will not be. There will be a large proportion who are Maverick behaviourists, though. The environment that they have grown up and now cohabit, and the objectives for their life demands it. Why are there such a large proportion of millennials Maverick behaviourists then? Well, every new generation fights the old. However, millennials are refusing to conform to the norms of society in a way that we haven't experienced before. Digital integration has enabled this generation to mobilise and influence differently. Maverick behaviourists have a conformist personality who behave like socialised mavericks in the workplace. In particular, they demonstrate these traits. They eschew routine and bureaucracy. They break rules to ensure that objectives are delivered and will cooperate with others, although they need encouragement to collaborate. They will use their large and engaged network to everyone's advantage, and they are eager to learn new things and develop themselves further. Maverick behaviourists have more successes than failures and are able to influence others. It is worth noting that Maverick behaviourists are fragile. They can be discouraged from expressing their Maverick traits, and this will lead to a very disengaged worker. The millennial worker, when disengaged, will drop to apathy very quickly, which is disastrous to the company. You see, restricted nurturing can lead millennials to Maverick behaviour. They will also engage their network to let them know how bad they believe that they're being treated, and this will affect your status as a good employer, making it more expensive to recruit as well as your ability to sell your services. Millennials truly understand social media and they know how to harness it. Millennials have joined the workforce at a time when the economy has been the most challenged since the Great Depression, and corporate greed precipitated the fall, and now banking and monopolistic institutions engender little trust. There is a lack of trust in government and companies also. Millennials are unsure of who to trust and what with. Their online privacy has been increasingly eroded and cyberbullying has increased. This digital utopia that they were promised is fast becoming a nightmare. They are not expected to own their first home until they're in their 40s. There is no job for life or even career management. 3 in 10 millennials have already clocked up 5 or more jobs in their career so far. And millennials exist in an uncertain world where they are saddled with debt and little assets. They need jobs that are fulfilling, has meaning, and leaders that they can trust and who want to care for them, i.e. they need to treat them well. They aren't receiving this and they're blaming themselves for this lack. Low self-esteem in an individual can never lead to extraordinary, successful results. This generation, and Generation Z that follows it, are now focusing on dealing with this uncertainty by standing for something. They want meaningful jobs and companies that cares for all their stakeholders. When they find something that they care about, they will switch to maverick behaviour to get it. These conformists will not behave like extreme mavericks, however, mainly because at heart they are conformists. Millennials still need a lot of nurturing, even though mavericks don't. And there is a tragedy of sorts being played out here. Millennials may behave like mavericks, and employers and other interested parties may treat them like one. And this can mean that they are given less direction and lots of autonomy before they are ready. And this can lead to failure and a loss of confidence from both parties. Neither may recover from easily. So what should you expect from millennials in your organisation? They will care deeply about their own development. They expect to be making an impact in your organisation from day one. They will want meaningful roles, and they will want mentoring and continual feedback so that they can grow. They expect their employers to be ethical. That corporate social responsibility has to be meaningful now and sustainable. They want to collaborate with others even if they are not employed by the organisation. They want to use social media in the workplace. They want the organisation to have values that are aligned with their own. They want inspiring leaders that they can rely on. And if you deny them the ability to act on their maverick traits, they will disengage quickly and become an apathetic employee. They can totally surprise you with their maverick ideas. So millennials will behave like socialised mavericks if you let them. This does mean that as employers you will need to train, grow and nurture a new type of leader. You will need a maverick leader, ideally one that is using the maverick-driven leadership methodology of mine to harness that talent. Are millennials the new mavericks? No, although they can behave like one, and that you should not ignore. Thank you once again for tuning into the Maverick Paradox Podcast. I hope you have enjoyed listening to my thoughts. If you would like to learn more about mavericks and leadership, then please subscribe to my podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, or one of the other popular podcast platforms. Or of course you can find me on any of the well-known social platforms, or indeed the website maverickparadox.com. Find out how willful independence can ultimately change all our futures. The next time I will be with an interesting guest ready to explore the mysteries of leadership. Thanks again, and see you soon.